Finn Wolfhard's story does not begin with red carpets, flashing cameras, or million-dollar contracts. It begins with curiosity, restlessness, and a quiet hunger to create something meaningful in a world that often tells young people to wait their turn. And this is precisely why his journey resonates so deeply across generations. Because Finn is not just an actor who found success early. He is a creator who refused to be boxed into one identity, one talent, or one expectation, and from the very beginning, he carried within him an unusual blend of imagination, discipline, and courage that would later define his rise as one of the most compelling young figures in modern entertainment. Born in Vancouver, Canada, far from Hollywood's traditional power centers, Finn grew up in an environment that did not guarantee fame or privilege, but instead nurtured creativity in quieter ways, through music, storytelling, and exploration. And it was in this space that he learned something crucial long before fame arrived. That passion is not something you wait to discover. It is something you actively build through curiosity and effort, and even as a child, Finn demonstrated a willingness to dive deeply into whatever caught his interest, whether it was acting, writing, directing, or playing music. And this multi-dimensional curiosity would later become his greatest advantage in an industry that often rewards versatility as much as talent. What makes Finn Wolfhard's rise especially inspiring is not merely how quickly success came, but how thoughtfully he handled it, because when Stranger Things exploded into a global phenomenon, turning him into an overnight sensation, Finn was still just a teenager navigating school, friendships, self-identity, and creative ambition all at once. And yet, instead of being consumed by the noise of fame, he demonstrated a rare level of self-awareness, choosing to remain grounded, reflective, and deeply connected to his creative instincts. And this ability to stay centered while the world watches is not accidental. It is the result of a mindset that values growth over validation, learning over applause, and substance over spectacle. And that mindset has consistently guided Finn's choices both on and off the screen. Finn's portrayal of Mike Wheeler in Stranger Things introduced him to millions, but it also revealed something deeper about his talent. An ability to bring emotional authenticity to characters who exist in extraordinary circumstances. And this emotional truth is what separates memorable performances from forgettable ones. Because Finn does not simply act, he listens, he observes, and he internalizes the emotional rhythm of a scene, allowing his performances to feel lived in rather than performed. And this approach is evident not only in Stranger Things, but in his work across film, voice acting, and independent projects, where he consistently gravitates toward roles that challenge him emotionally, intellectually, and creatively. Beyond acting, Finn Wolfhard's creative ambition extends into music, writing, and directing, areas that many actors approach later in life, but which Finn embraced early, understanding intuitively that storytelling is not confined to a single medium. And through his band, his solo music projects, and his directorial debut, Finn has demonstrated a desire not just to perform stories, but to shape them, to question them, and to use them as a means of personal expression. And this is where his journey becomes especially powerful for young creatives, because Finn's path proves that you do not have to choose between passions, you can integrate them, allowing each discipline to inform and enrich the others. One of the most compelling aspects of Finn Wolfhard's public persona is his honesty about growth, uncertainty, and self-discovery. Because unlike many public figures who present an image of constant confidence, Finn has openly acknowledged the challenges of growing up in the public eye, the pressure to meet expectations, and the ongoing process of understanding who he is beyond fame. And this transparency does not weaken his image, it strengthens it, because it reflects a maturity that recognizes success as a journey rather than a destination. And this perspective allows him to approach his career not as a race for accolades, but as a long-term exploration of craft, meaning, and impact. Finn's choices reveal a deep respect for storytelling as an art form, evident in his willingness to participate in independent films, unconventional narratives, and projects that prioritize creativity over commercial safety. And this willingness to take risks is a defining trait of artists who leave a lasting legacy. Because true influence is not built by repeating what is safe, but by pushing boundaries, experimenting with form, and remaining open to evolution. And Finn's career trajectory suggests a long-term vision rooted in creative fulfillment, rather than short-term recognition. Equally important is Finn Wolfhard's understanding of responsibility, particularly as a role model for younger audiences. because he recognizes that visibility comes with influence, and influence carries weight. And while he does not position himself as perfect or infallible, he approaches his platform with care, using his voice to support creativity, authenticity, and thoughtful engagement with the world. And this sense of responsibility reflects a deeper understanding of success, one that extends beyond personal achievement to include the impact one has on others. Finn's journey also challenges traditional narratives about age and capability, because his accomplishments demonstrate that creativity is not limited by youth, nor is maturity defined solely by years. And through his work, Finn shows that dedication, curiosity, and emotional intelligence can accelerate growth in ways that transcend conventional timelines, offering a powerful reminder that meaningful contributions can come at any stage of life. When passion is paired with discipline. As Finn Wolfhard continues to evolve as an artist, what becomes increasingly clear is that his story is not about a single breakout role or moment of fame, but about the ongoing process of becoming, of refining one's voice, expanding one's skills, and remaining open to transformation. And this process is what makes his journey endlessly compelling, because it mirrors the universal human experience of growth, uncertainty, and aspiration, making Finn not just a figure of admiration, but a source of inspiration for anyone navigating their own creative path. Finn Wolfhard's journey continues to inspire because it reflects a rare understanding that true success is not about arriving early, but about arriving honestly. And as his career unfolds, it becomes clear that what sustains him is not hype or momentum, but a deep respect for the inner process of becoming, because Finn approaches creativity as a lifelong conversation with himself, rather than a performance for external approval. And this internal dialogue allows him to evolve without losing authenticity, even as expectations rise and public attention intensifies. And instead of chasing louder roles or constant visibility, he chooses intentionality, demonstrating that growth does not require speed. It requires direction, and this direction is guided by curiosity, by the courage to ask difficult questions about identity, purpose, and artistic responsibility. And through this lens, Finn transforms fame from a destination into a tool, something to be used thoughtfully rather than consumed recklessly. And this distinction is critical because many lose themselves trying to maintain an image, while Finn quietly builds a foundation, one rooted in self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and creative integrity, allowing him to withstand pressure without becoming rigid or defensive. And this adaptability is what gives his work longevity, because audiences sense when an artist is evolving rather than repeating. And evolution creates trust, a belief that the story is still unfolding rather than being recycled. And this trust deepens the connection between creator and audience, turning admiration into respect and respect into lasting influence. And as Finn continues to explore writing, directing, and music, he reinforces the idea that identity is not a fixed label, but a living process, one shaped by experience, reflection, and willingness to grow beyond comfort zones. And this message resonates far beyond entertainment, speaking to anyone who feels boxed in by early definitions or past versions of themselves, reminding them that reinvention is not betrayal, it is alignment, and alignment is where fulfillment lives. And what makes Finn Wolfhard's path especially compelling is that he never presents certainty as the goal. Instead, he embraces uncertainty as a creative companion, understanding that not knowing is often the doorway to deeper truth. And by normalizing doubt rather than hiding it, he dismantles the myth that confidence must be constant, showing instead that real confidence is the ability to move forward without complete clarity, trusting the process while staying grounded in values. And this approach transforms pressure into perspective, allowing challenges to refine rather than diminish. And as time passes, Finn's influence will likely be measured not just by roles played or awards earned, but by the quiet permission he gives others to grow at their own pace, to explore without apology, and to value inner alignment over external applause. And in a world obsessed with instant outcomes, his journey stands as a reminder that depth takes time, meaning requires patience, and the most powerful stories are the ones still being written.